Welcome to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just, what are we now? Approximately 6 months away from the 2024 presidential election, which, if the campaign so far is any indication, is roughly 3 years from now. But before the general election officially kicks in, of course, Trump needs to pick a running mate, because his last one, for some reason, just didn't hang in there. One person who clearly wants this gig desperately is South Dakota governor and woman who told her hairstylist, "Give me the whole cast of Friends." Kristi Noem. Now, here's the thing about Noem. Noem revealed something fascinating in her soon-to-be-released memoir. And warning, if you like puppies, you're not gonna like Kristi Noem. Because in her new book, Noem admitted to killing her dog. Now, I know that sounds terrible. Look, I know it sounds terrible, but it's much worse. Because this wasn't some rabid 90-pound hellhound on a meth bender. It was a 14-month-old wire-haired pointer named Cricket. Yes, a puppy named Cricket. Reminds me of Stephen King's first draft of Cujo. Snuggles. And it is worth pointing out, no one made Noem confess to puppy snuffing. She volunteered this information, even saying, "I guess if I were a better politician, I wouldn't tell the story here." Oh, I don't know. I remember William Henry Harrison's famed slogan, "Tip a canoe and I beat a raccoon to death with my bare hands." So, why? Why did Cricket need to kick it? According to Noem, the problem was that Cricket was untrainable. Well, yeah, she was 14 months old. I can only imagine Kristi Noem with the dog trainer. So, Governor, we've evaluated Cricket, and we think we should kill her. No, I was thinking a special collar that would kill her slowly. Here's what happened. According to Noem, again, in a story no one asked her to tell us, she claims that she brought Cricket on a pheasant hunt, but Cricket ruined the hunt, going out of her mind with excitement, chasing all those birds and having the time of her life. But who among us hasn't seen a dog running through the fields, not a care in the world, and thought, "You deserve to die"? Stay hydrated, because there's a lot of these jokes coming. Cricket made the fatal mistake of continuing to be a normal puppy on the way home when, according to Noem, they stopped at a local family's farm where Cricket attacked the family's chickens. Governor Noem, if you don't like untrainable animals that wolf down chicken, I have bad news about your party's nominee. But Noem had no choice. Because if there's one thing no one should ever have to witness, it's the loss of man's best friend, a chicken. Because when you have a dead chicken, what could you possibly do with it? Rub it with olive oil, maybe a sprig of thyme, some lemon, salt, pepper, herbs de Provence? Lightly cover in foil and roast for an hour at 425? What? Now, after Cricket killed the chickens, Noem writes, and I swear, this is all from her book, Cricket was, quote, the picture of pure joy, adding, "I hated that dog." Yeah. Okay, this book is starting to sound less like a political memoir and more like the scrawled manifesto of a guy whose neighbors said he just kind of kept to himself, you know? Something about that happy puppy clearly pushed Noem over the edge. She writes, "At that moment, I realized I had to put her down. So she got her gun and led Cricket to a gravel pit." No! Bad psycho governor! No! Sit down! Bad! Stay! Stay away from dogs! By the way, the actual title of Noem's book where she tells this story is No Going Back. Better than her first drafts. Old Yeller 2, He Had It Coming, and All Dogs Go to Gravel Pit. But it did not stop there, because shooting the dog just reminded Noem that she had other animals that were shootable. According to her book, her family also owned a male goat, and Noem decided to kill the goat the same way she had just killed Cricket the dog. Oh my God, what kind of reverse John Wick farm is she running out there? So, why did she decide to kill a second innocent animal? Noem writes that the goat was nasty and mean and smelled disgusting, musky, and rancid. So, a goat. That's what they're like. There's a reason no one ever comes up to you and goes, you smell like a goat. So just to recap, let me make sure if I got this right here. She killed a puppy for being untrained and a goat for smelling bad. That's just killing animals for being animals. That rooster crowed at dawn. That cat's licking his own butthole. You know what? That elephant never forgets. He's going to testify to the cops about how I killed these other animals. Now, Noem took this goat and, you guessed it, dragged him to a gravel pit. But that's where the dead dog is. We actually have footage of the goat's reaction on seeing the gravel pit. So then she shot the goat in the pit. And I don't want to get into semantics here, but if there's two dead animals in there, it's no longer a gravel pit. It's a dead animal pit featuring gravel. But Governor Noem says that, sad or not, this is all just part of farm life that any child can learn about from the classic See and Say.
Please, I have a family. I'm begging you. My uncle has money.
Donald Trump's hush money trial took a break today to observe Passover, but a lot happened while we were on break last week. Specifically, there were unconfirmed allegations that Donald Trump was actually farting in the courtroom, and he was doing so while falling asleep. That's right, farting while falling asleep, or as I call it, multitasking. No, I do it a lot. No, I'm a great multitasker. I'm a great multitasker. Sometimes when I cough, I pee a little, and when I burp, I puke just a bit. Sorry, ladies. Sorry, ladies, I'm married. Not that it's ever mattered. Inside the courtroom, Trump's lawyers argued that the former president didn't pay off Stormy Daniels to help his election campaign, which would be illegal. He was merely fighting back to protect his family. The prosecution rebutted that claim with their key witness, former National Enquirer publisher and divorced Pringles man, David Pecker. Pecker testified about he used the National Enquirer to buy and then never publish unflattering stories about Trump, a practice known as catch and kill, which is also another early title of Kristi Noem's book.
Wow.
Pecker... Pecker specifically testified that when it came to the payments, Trump's family was never mentioned. Instead, he explicitly and repeatedly said they had been trying to help Trump's election chances, acting as Trump's eyes and ears. I gotta say, if you're gonna act as any of Trump's body parts, eyes and ears probably the safest choice. Pecker explained after catching and killing a story about Trump having sex with Playboy playmate Karen McDougal, Pecker's lawyers warned him that it was potentially a crime and that Pecker may have already broken campaign finance law by paying McDougal, which of course asked the eternal question, if publisher Pecker paid a Playboy playmate, how many Playboy playmates did publisher Pecker pay? So, I don't think I got that right. Playboy, did I? Amidst the midst. So when it came time to pay off Stormy Daniels, Pecker told Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, I am not purchasing the story. I am not going to be involved with a porn star. So instead, Michael Cohen paid $130,000 in hush money to Stormy Daniels himself, and Trump later repaid him with a series of checks. Of course, paying off a porn star in installments is technically called the getting laid away plan. But if you only knew what we all just went through to get to that joke. Beautiful people. But covering up for Trump's affairs was just the tip of the pecker. He used the National Enquirer to go after Trump's campaign rivals with headlines like, "It's over for pervy Ted. Cruz's 5 secret mistresses. That is shocking. Also completely unbelievable. If you're gonna make up lies about Ted Cruz, keep them realistic, like Ted Cruz caught dumpster diving for new beard. We got a great show for you tonight. My guests are Gene Smart and cabaret star Gail Rankin. And when we come back, science.